Have you ever looked back and realized you were almost never sober? Not because you wanted to be, but because somehow drinking became normal. Getting high became normal. Every night, there was another drink, another joint, another pill, another reason to escape. At first, it felt fun. Then, it became your relationship. And years later, you started asking yourself one terrifying question. Did they actually want me intoxicated? Or did it just happen? Psychologists have spent decades studying the connection between addiction, control, and abusive relationships. And what they discover may completely change how you see your own story. Chapter 1. It didn't start with control. Very few abusive relationships begin with obvious abuse. Most begin with connection, shared experience, late nights, parties, drinks after work, smoking together. Let's relax. Let's forget today. Let's have fun. It feels like intimacy because doing something together creates closeness, especially when you're falling in love. But over time, something changes. Chapter 2. Your world gets smaller. Maybe you stop seeing certain friends. Maybe your hobbies disappear. Maybe weekends become centered around drinking, or getting high, or recovering from the night before. Without realizing it, your world becomes smaller. And when someone's world becomes smaller, their dependence on one person often grows larger. This isn't true in every relationship involving substances, but in abusive relationships, it can become part of a much larger pattern of isolation and control. Chapter 3. The fog. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle while someone keeps shaking the table. That's what constant intoxication can feel like. You stop trusting your memory, arguments become blurry, promises disappear. You begin asking yourself, did that actually happen? Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. When someone is under the influence, it becomes much harder to recognize unhealthy patterns, make clear decisions, or leave a harmful situation. That doesn't mean alcohol use causes abuse. It can make abuse harder to see and harder to escape. Chapter 4. The cycle. If your partner struggles with addiction, they may want company. Sometimes because it feels less lonely. Sometimes because shared behavior makes it feel more normal. Sometimes because if everyone is drinking, no one has to question what's happening. Not every person with addiction is abusive, and not every abusive person has an addiction. But when the two overlap, the relationship can become incredibly difficult to untangle. Chapter 5. Personal story. Looking back, I realized I wasn't becoming the woman I wanted to be. I was becoming the woman my relationship required me to be. Drinking wasn't the problem, although we were having a bottle of wine every night. Anyway, the problem was that I slowly lost myself. Every decision became about surviving another day. Every weekend looked the same. Every promise that things would get better kept me there a little longer. It took leaving that relationship to realize how much my life had disappeared while I was trying to save someone else's. If your story sounds familiar, I want you to know something. You are not weak, you are not broken, and you are not responsible for another person's addiction. If someone is constantly bugging you to drink, use drugs, or numb yourself, and that pressure is a part of the broader pattern of manipulation, intimidation, or control, it deserves to be taken seriously. Healing begins when you step out of the fog. Not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because for the first time in a long time, you can finally see clearly. Thanks, bye.